If pricing properties was simply about math, data, and comparables, more agents would actually be good at it. But the problem isn't the numbers, it's the conversation. Here's the real question that every listing agent needs to answer. Why do some agents walk into the same house with the same comps in the same market and walk out with totally different outcomes? Why does one agent get alignment and another agent gets objections, overpricing, and ultimately an unsellable listing? It's not the experience, it's not the data, it's the psychology. I know you've seen this play out in your own career. You bring the comps, you explain the market, you show the days on market and the hyperlocal trends. And the seller says, well, the neighbor got more, we want to try higher. Or, my favorite, let's just test the market. And suddenly you're having to defend what is actually reality. And here's the tell. The moment you start defending the price, you've already lost authority. Not because you're wrong, but because the seller doesn't feel comfortable with what you presented. Let me give you the non-obvious truth. Sellers don't resist price. They resist uncertainty. And when uncertainty shows up, they grab the one thing that feels safe. Hope. Hope that the market will surprise them. Hope that their home is different. Hope that someone will fall in love with their home. Hope is not a strategy. Although it feels good, it's not a strategy. And if you don't manage those expectations, you're going to end up taking an unsellable listing and inheriting a massive headache. Pricing strategy is not about proving you're right either. Pricing is about transferring certainty. Your job as the listing agent is not to justify the number or sell them on the number. It's to lead them to an educated decision, an informed decision. And here's the shift. When you present pricing as an argument, guess what? Sellers, they argue back. And when you present pricing as a framework, sellers are allowed to relax because frameworks reduce anxiety. Here's a tool you can use immediately. I call it the pricing triangle. Every price lives in one of these three zones. Zone 1 is below market. This creates urgency, competition, and leverage. Zone 2 is at the market. This creates activity, feedback, and alignment. Zone 3 is priced high and above the market. This creates silence, excuses, and emotion. Here's the key. You don't ask the sellers which zone do they want. You ask your sellers what outcome do they want. Do they want speed? Do they want certainty? Or do they want experimentation? Then you show them which zone produces that outcome. Guess what? We've just taken the emotion out of pricing. Pricing's no longer emotional, it's strategic. Here's the second tool. I call it the silent test. After you present the pricing, you stop talking. Not for just 2 seconds. I'm talking real silence here. The first person to speak reveals who owns the decision. If you speak first, you're negotiating against yourself. If they speak, you learn what they're actually afraid of. Pricing breakdowns don't happen because of numbers. They happen because agents talk too much. Silence is confidence. Tool number 3, the reduction pre-frame. Now this tool separates professionals from amateurs. It's not for the faint at heart, but strong agents, they thrive with it. Before the listing ever goes live, you pre-frame a price reduction. You say, if we don't have serious activity in the first 10 to 14 days, the market is giving us our feedback. And we're not going to argue with feedback. We're going to respond to it. I want you to notice what that does. It removes the ego, it removes the blame, and it removes the element of surprise. Reductions fail when they feel like failure. They succeed when they feel like execution or part of a pricing strategy or an actual plan. I've seen this time and time again. I've seen agents with perfect comps, perfect data, lose control of the pricing strategy and ultimately lose the listing, or worse, take an unsellable overpriced listing. I've watched other agents show up with very average data. They show up with average data and they dominate the listing. The difference is not confidence theater, it's emotional leadership. Strong listing agents don't try to convince. They present and they contain. They present and contain facts. They make sellers feel safe enough to create and make adult decisions. And once this happens, the math finally gets to the matter at hand. Here's the uncomfortable part. If pricing keeps breaking down for you, it's not because your sellers are difficult. It's because they don't fully trust the process that you're attempting to lead them through. And that trust gap, it'll usually form long before pricing ever comes up. Which brings us to the next real issue. This is why most sellers, unfortunately, don't trust agents. Not because agents lack knowledge, but because too many agents avoid accountability and leadership. In my next video, I'm going to talk about why sellers hesitate, why they hesitate, why they test, and why they second guess their agents, and how you, as a real estate professional, can instantly reverse that dynamic. Because once you understand trust, this process becomes extremely simple. With that said, team, there's some links down below. Go ahead and click the URL. There's actually two I want you to take a look at. One is my actual store with all my systems, strategies, solutions, scripts, dialogues, everything you need to grow your business. The second one is the Real Estate Academy Hub, which is a group of like-minded agents synergistically growing our careers together. But the most important thing I want to draw your attention to is the opportunity for us to work one-on-one in a coaching relationship. Go ahead and take a look at my value proposition, see what it is that I can do for you and your business. But at the end of the day, team, it's your business. So just get out there, get after it, get it done. We'll talk soon, everybody. Bye-bye.